Well, hello there, humans, hippies, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and if you're lucky enough indeed to be doing it too. Welcome back to channel. I'm Bushka, and today we're going to be talking about how to spot targets. I'm going to give you the golden rule of spotting targets, the absolute 100% surefire, can't miss, and guaranteed to make you a hot-looking human who does well all day long, and in the wrap-up at the end of the day looks like a red-hot raver. That is, movement draws the eye. And number two, I'm going to talk about the practical applications of that, and how I do it and how I use it and how you can get better with it. So watch all the way through to the end, because there's plenty of very, very key and interesting moments that are going to bring you up to speed as a great and bustling PUBG mobile player. Now, obviously the sound, the two senses you use, your ears and your eyes. The sound sets up the general direction when you're in close quarters combat, and when you are looking at long shots, you'll hear people sniping and all that. Bang, 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 a couple of hundred meters away, gives you a general direction of where you go, and then you move the eyeballs to there, and everything's easy peasy lemon squeezy. Well, there's a lot of practical stuff that goes on as well. I'm going to talk a lot about this scope in particular, the red dot, and how useful it is as a general purpose spotting scope, and how you can train yourself to really use the red dot more effectively often than the 3x, which I use a lot on Miramar. And how then you use that kind of thing to switch. Let's just take an example for a standard hot drop. And this is a very, very obvious thing. You're going to see people dropping from the skies. Like, that is a blue background. There is a very dark shape moving across it. And it makes it simple to say, hey, there's a target. I can see the target. I hit the target, right? Not a problem. Easy to spot, blah, 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 blah. No one has any issues with that at all. But that's not really what we're looking at here. Movement draws the eye is something JC Ware, my good mate JC Ware, the mad tanking monster that he is, brought to my attention very early in the piece when I was playing Water Tanks Blitz. And I believe it's probably an aphorism from the military, or, you know, talking about range spotting or anything like that. But you're going to see in any, if you start looking at any kind of gameplay footage, what you actually see is movement. The movement makes your eye like just bang, straight on. You're into it. The movement does everything for you. And the way I like to use the red dot is I will let the red dot sit in the middle of the screen low. And then any kind of tiny movement, once you relax your eyes and kind of just let them center and move around the screen gently, your eyes will actually just flicker to any kind of movement. And you can train yourself to do this by repetition and practice, like anything, like shooting a basketball, like, you know, cooking a cake. Anything that you do a lot of, you get better at. That's all there is to it. Movement is absolutely no different in terms of the way it tracks you and makes you just look. There's a whole lot of stuff going on over there. So I put the sound in, I look. I mean, how is that guy not shot in the head? This is why I lose this freaking game, man. I needed to knock that dude so I could get into the zone. He's got three other buddies. They're all firing out there and blowing each other up, and they all know where I am, and I needed that one knock so I could possibly get into the zone, but it took me too long to get it. And at the end of the day, that just wasn't enough. There he is. Oh, he dodged that one. What a genius. Next level play. And it's not enough. Anyway, I'm running in the zone. Open zone against 4 blacks. It was never going to work. But what you are going to find, and I'm going to show you a gunfight now where it is absolutely obvious that how often I spot targets using this technique. There is a gunfight right in front of me, right? There is a squad in front of Swiss and I here. Now, watch behind this guy in the top right corner of the screen. Watch me see that movement. Right over there. All the way over there. Like, that guy was not part of this squad fight. He was trying to third party. But he absolutely drew my eye into the game, and bang, I was immediately trying to get the scope up onto the top right corner of the map, because I could see that there was a dude out there, just a tiny little skerrick outside the circle. It's another reason why I love fighting with the 3x scope. A lot of people ask me why don't I use a 6x and then just drag it down to a 3x. Everyone's screen is a little bit different. You will find a lot of the iPad screens and Samsung screens and everything, they register the scopes at different sizes on the screen itself. And you're going to have to experiment to see which is best for you. But for me, a 3 times takes up less of the screen, and that gives me more space around the edges for that inadvertent eye just drifting off to a little bit of movement in the background. And that background movement is the kind of thing that just jams you into a winning situation. Now I'm going to show you another clip here where Swiss and I again are in a final circle situation. And there is a squad running around in here somewhere. Oh, this is a great grid. This is a great grid. Oh my God, you potato. You're just not helping anyone. Yeah, that's... Swiss is in the house. Like, he doesn't need me grading. Or he's just about in the house. I'm not helping here at all with those ones down this end. They're not there. The actual guy we're talking about is in the field. I'm going to stop this and let you see. You practice this, you get used to it, right? That's Swiss's grin at me then. He blew me up. You practice this, you get used to it. You start looking for things that aren't meant to be there automatically. And you're going to see, I'll slow this down so you can actually see this, because I don't think a lot of people spot naturally like this. So I haven't worked at it, and I really have. There is someone out in that grass, right? You can't see anyone there, right? Look at this. Do you see how there are dark marks underneath that tree? There are not meant to be any dark marks there. It's a slight movement, and that was the only thing on the entire screen moving. And when I'm scoping, I'm not actually looking down the middle of the scope all the time. What I do is I just let the scope move around. Now, another thing I do a lot, practically speaking, is this me baiting with the BSS. Such a grub. Then you zoom in where you think they're going to come, and you will actually see the target appear as movement. That movement is here he comes again. There's another bloke over there. The movement is what drags you in every time. If people don't move, it is very, very hard to spot them. Even when you're using an 8 times scope, you don't know for sure that there's someone over there. Notice too how low I keep my red dot here. How it's not actually tracking any targets. What it's doing is it's giving me the maximum screen space that I can see at that kind of scoped in look. Look how low I keep the red dot here. I think there are people over in apartments. I'm not actually looking at apartments. I'm looking for any kind of movement. You're going to see in the middle about East 100, the 2-story, 3-story at the very back on the left. I see movement. There he is. I don't get the knock, but I see that movement. That's how we see. You need to start working on this yourself. Passively spotting is incredibly valuable. Once you get used to this, it will make you a better player because it will actually drag your shots on target up. And if you're shooting at the target more often instead of looking for the target, then yeah, like you can see with the 3 times here, this is a good example of why I love the 3 times. Look how much of the screen, look how much real estate I've got when I'm using the 3 times. It's a whole hell of a lot more than it is when I'm using a 4 times. So even though I can probably control the recoil reasonably one on a 4 times at that mid-range engagement, the 3 times is just a lot more effective for me. I mean, that guy's not coming out. He's had enough of a dose. And you're gonna see, what I will actually do with the red dot a lot is zoom in at the direction that I know the target's gonna be coming from. Here we go, red dot zoomed in, and it just allows you to have that magnification using your ears on the direction that you hear the target, and then the movement is easier to see, and everything is so much simpler when you're doing that. I have no idea why this clip is in here. This clip is not meant to be in here, but we're going to watch. This is a good pre-fire. This is how you pre-fire an FPP. Congratulations, bonus content. Like, boom. That's not meant to be there. Does nothing. This is just another example of how I'm using the red dot to always scope in, and I run red dot an awful lot, man. I run red dot so much. It is really super valuable for me as a spotting tool, and obviously if anyone's running across an 8 times, you can see them, but look how narrow the vision on that 8 times is. It's such a small radius, whereas you run the red dot, you're not actually looking to shoot with the red dot, you're looking to hit the target. I zoom in, zoom in, Yep, there's a target moving around, much easier to see. If you're zoomed in, you don't have to ADS, and if you're ADSing, you're hitting more shots. So this way of spotting the target is just going to make you a flat out better player. There's no way around it. So I hope you enjoyed that. And you can see, even here at range, we use our ears to spot the general direction, then we start using our eyes to focus in, and I'm looking for movement. Look at how there's just slight movements. That's a tag. That's a tag. These guys are like, where the hell am I getting shot from? They've got to be hacking. This is ridiculous. But all I'm doing is looking at the trees, and that's a headshot. I'm just looking at the trees, and I'm seeing movement in the trees. That's another tag. These are all hits. Like, that's another hit. This is ridiculous, isn't it? But like, this is a knock target that's crawling around there, and he stopped moving, so I can't spot him. He's died eventually on his own. But the reason I was hitting those wasn't because I could see the target. It was because I could see movement in the kaleidoscope of those trees. I could actually see the target moving along behind the edges of those trees. And once I saw that movement, I just shot the movement. It wasn't about shooting a physical target that you could see. I got one of them as a headshot, but that was just lucky. Like, that wasn't intentional. Oh, hello. Yeah, no, that's not on, mate, buddy. You're right. And like, see, that guy bounces his head up, and your eyes are straight away drawn to it. This is just one of a series of videos I want to do that showcase the really small parts of PUBG Mobile that a lot of people don't think about. I'm not interested in world record kills. I'm not interested in that crap, getting 50 kills in bronze in a squad and pretending like I'm some kind of PUBG Mobile god. If you were that good, you would be at PMCO shredding and wrecking. This is a shout out to you, humans. If you want more of this kind of content where we look at the ins and the outs, the minuscule, the macro management of PUBG Mobile, micromanagement of PUBG Mobile, then give us a heads up in the comments, and I'll keep doing it. But I really enjoy doing this kind of content. Until next time, look after yourselves and stay safe on the battlefield. Bye for now.